Okay, I want to talk to you about the Chiefs because when I text you about putting together the show, you told me the time that you could show up, and you're like, all I ask is a Kansas City segment. Let's talk about it. What do you want to talk about?
Man,
There's a lot.
there is a lot because we could focus on them having the worst defense in the league. We could talk about the turnovers. We could talk about Mahomes being careless with the ball. It's there's a lot of different things. I just think what was most alarming in that Tennessee game was just the lack of urgency, and it's not a matter of defenses figuring out Pat Mahomes. I just think Kansas City, they're paying for some bad draft picks and players not developing. I think offensively, how teams do it, you set up too high, you make sure Tyreek Hill doesn't beat you deep, uh, get physical with Kelsey at the line of scrimmage, and then try to make the other players beat you. And I think what also doesn't help it, if you look at them offensively, like that Orlando Brown trade, it's not working. And this was the big concern with this move. They just want to get a left tackle. But the thing is, Orlando Brown's like 370 pounds. He's massive. He fit great in that Ravens offense where they're running the ball 30, 35 times a game. Kansas City is a whole other offense, and he just
Deep
looks slow.
dropbacks.
Deep
Yeah.
dropbacks. Like Bud Dupree was just blazing by him. Harold
Dude,
Landry.
Bud Dupree looked like it was a steal how much
Hey,
they paid for him.
Hey man, I'm pro Bud Dupree. He's had a bad start of the year, but he delivered him and Harold Landry, D'Amico Autry. They were getting after. But the Orlando Brown trade's all good. Hardman he just seems like a gadget 4 or 5 catch guy at best. Edwards-Helaire just can't stand the field, and even when he's there, he doesn't quite bring it like the other running backs. Like there's no special factor with Edwards-Helaire. I think he's just solid at this point, which is unfortunate because I was really high on him. But it's like, look, we could talk about the defense, but I think you have to look at this offense right now. It's like, look, they scored 3 points, and they're just turning the ball over at a rapid pace.
And you scored 3 points against a team who their defense is
They give up points.
pretty bad as well,
Yeah.
right? So it's concerning. It's concerning. And to me, Alan, I feel like we put out that video. Well, I put out that video about how to stop the Kansas City Chiefs. Like really fucking around. I think it was the first game of the year where Mahomes completed 27 passes and 17 of them went to Kelsey and Tyreek. And then there was another game, same exact thing, where those two guys just ran wild. And it was like, hey, stop one of the two and you'll be fine. No one else has stepped up.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the case. And they have no running game. Mahomes, it seems as if he is trying to do too much.
Right.
And I think him knowing that the defense is so bad, one of the reasons why he's saying to himself, yo, we can't punt. I got to do this cross body, throw across the field, accidentally press the wrong button in Madden throws.
Yeah.
It's what we love about him. Now it's resulting in losses, so we're saying he's too reckless. He's leaving the pocket too soon. What's good with Mahomes? I don't like that, right?
I don't like it either.
I'm not a fan of, oh, you love it when it's going well, but you shit on it when it's going bad.
Right.
And that's just the nature of our society as sports people. But he is, I feel like from watching him, and I went back and I watched this game, he's trying to do a lot.
Both those turnovers were preventable. Like you look at, he went to his left and he just flung it downfield into like double, triple coverage. Like it was, he put it into traffic and it was deflection and Tennessee pounced on. And then that fumble, he wasn't really protecting the ball. Like Mahomes is definitely playing a little too carelessly.
Yeah, that's fair. I also think that was just a hell of a play by Byard too.
Yeah,
to just come around the back. So I want to
true.
give him his credit.
Absolutely,
on that
absolutely.
One too.
And like we'll talk more about Tennessee later because I've always been pro Titans. So
You love the Titans, bro.
Hey,
You love that
they've
1980s.
They've been the 2 top AFC teams the past 2 weeks, man. The brand is strong.
Yeah.
But focusing on the Chiefs, like I just think there's times where Mahomes, I'm like, I wish he could tone it down. But like, look at the Washington game. Like those turnovers were just absurd. They could have been easily avoidable. But look, I think he has that approach right now where it's just you have to score 35 points because his defense just can't stop anybody. So I also want to point out, and I think it was a pretty interesting comparison. Our guy Mike Renner pointed this out. Remember when Aaron Rodgers kind of was in this position where he would be forcing the ball too much? He wouldn't throw it away. He wouldn't check it down. He'd just be pressing too much. He'd be throwing the ball downfield. I think that's he pointed out. Like Aaron Rodgers in 2017, 2018 is what Mahomes is going through right now.
The Mike McCarthy stuff,
Yeah.
right? Where he apparently didn't like the offense and he
Right.
would just throw the ball out of bounds because he didn't like that player. He would just, the like side arm, throw it onto the ground like
Right.
it's a screen pass. Yeah, it seems like it. And you know what both of these guys had, Alan?
They think they're the best in the world, understandably so.
Right. But also, they go through seasons with 5, 6, 7 interceptions on the year. And they really care about those numbers, right? And they're known for 40 touchdowns, 6 picks, Aaron Rodgers and shit like that. And then you're looking at it now, he has 9 interceptions. He had 6 all of last year, 5 all of 2019, the year that he won MVP. He threw 50 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. And also, he's asked to throw a lot. Like they're throwing the ball a lot, so it's going to result in interceptions. It's the Andrew Luck thing. Right? Andrew Luck had to throw the ball his rookie year 600 times. RG3 threw it like 397 or 400 times. It's like, no shit, he threw more interceptions. Matthew Stafford, the same thing. Oh, he threw 15 interceptions. It's like, he threw 700 times.
You're forced to throw 40, 50 times a game.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So, do I think some of these turnovers could be preventable? Absolutely. But you look at just how things are set up in Kansas City right now, there's a ton of pressure. And I think you have to look at their failures more from an organizational standpoint rather than putting it on Mahomes.
Only Tom Brady has more attempts. Brady has 21 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Mahomes has 18 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. But the two teams are completely different.
Yeah.
Offensive line, way better in Tampa Bay. Defense, way better in Tampa Bay. Weapons, collectively, way better in Tampa Bay. So you're asking him to throw a lot, right? Like Jared Goff has the same amount of pass attempts as him. He has 6 interceptions.
Decent amount of those on garbage time.
Yeah, that's true.
So, look, I think Kansas City, they can still be competitive, but it's just I think the limitations there are too much. Like that defense, it's just they can't. They're not stopping when they're not forcing turnovers. They're not even making quarterbacks uncomfortable. Like Tannehill, anytime they ran play action, Tannehill was just hitting A.J. Brown right there.
Yeah.
Like it's just there's no resistance when it comes to Kansas City, and to this point, it's like okay, you want the stars to step up, but it's like what about these other players? Like when does Jadavius Ward step up, or where does Juan Thornhill, or can a linebacker do something on Kansas City? Like it's just. They signed Jerron Reed from Seattle, who I thought was a potential up-and-coming star. He's been anonymous, so it's just there's problems there. And I wonder what happens to Spagnuolo. Is he going to take heat for it? Yeah, the personnel's bad, but can he possibly do something? So I think you can't just place the blame on one or two things in Kansas City. I think it comes from a whole organizational point of view.
No, I agree with you. I think that's definitely the case. And you got to see, man, because your division is tough, right? Raiders aren't first. Chargers are there. Denver always plays you hard, and your schedule is not exactly the easiest. So you gotta get it together. And if you're the offense, you have to play better too.
They're about to get that third NFC East game in now, but they still have to play Dallas too.
Yeah,
Dallas offense against that Kansas City.
Dak might throw for 800 yards. I want to talk about the Titans and Colts game because Alan, I feel like this one has huge division ramifications, right? The Titans are 5-2. The Colts are 3-4. If you're the Titans, you win this game, you get a 3-game lead on the Colts. It's the only team that can catch you in that division. Right. And if you're the Colts, you close ground. And the Colts had the hardest schedule of any team in the NFL through the first 7 weeks. I do think still that game that they lost to the Ravens is going to be the one that bites them in the ass later down the road. If they can overcome that, hats off to them. They're playing really, really well. No interceptions for Carson Wentz the last 4 games, though he did have that.
I still can't believe that wasn't an interception.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah.
That was really wild.
But look, given the weather conditions from that game, I'm not going to be too critical of Wentz. I thought he played admirably.
Yeah, he has 1 pick on the year. He's taking care of the football. They're getting Jonathan Taylor going. You can make a case might be the 2 best running backs in football right now, the way they're playing. 4 straight games with a touchdown for Jonathan Taylor. We know about Derrick Henry.
Got Quinn Nelson back too.
Yeah, and they're dominating. And I think the one interesting thing here is I really want to see the Colts in a spot like this. They're at home, and this is. I don't want to say like loser leaves town. That'd be inappropriate. But this could be for the division here, like early on.
I think if for division, it might be a must-win for the Colts. Just given how good Tennessee's playing, like you have to take into account, like they've beaten Buffalo and Kansas City, so they were playing a first-place schedule. They already beat 2 of those first-place teams. The only first-place team left they got to play is Pittsburgh, which you would favor them in. So I think Tennessee, like their schedule is going to ease up a bit now. They've already beaten the heavyweights. So, and I think Colts in a big spot. Like you want to see them put together. Like they've fallen short. They've been competitive, but at this point, it's like we got to see the complete package. Like I want to see DeForest Buckner and Darius Leonard lead that defense. Can they keep Derrick Henry somewhat contained? Like don't let him go for 150 and 2 scores. Like make him work for it. Make him average less than 4 yards per carry. Put Tannehill in third and long situations. Don't let him get comfortable when it comes to play action. Because I think it's proven like if you force the game on Tannehill where he's got to play a lot like 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 9s, it could be a problem for him. So I do have a concern though if you want to look at it from a schematic standpoint, like the Colts defense, they like playing a lot of zone.
Yeah,
most zone heavy team.
Yeah.
With A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, after the catch, that could be a major problem. You give those 2 space, they could pick up yards quickly in a hurry. So like I think I would be concerned about the Colts. I'm concerned about any defense going against the Titans offense if they're fully healthy because look, that 3-head monster.
Yeah.
They could do damage against anybody.
The Titans play the easiest schedule the rest of the way. The Colts are tied for 11th with a bunch of other teams. You know who has the hardest schedule the rest of the way?
No.
The Kansas City Chiefs. From a win percentage.
Hey, they're getting rid of the NFC East teams.
Yeah. So
and they're playing divisional games soon.
My thing with the Titans, and I think the Colts have a good matchup on when they're on offense because I think they could definitely exploit some of the weaknesses for Tennessee. Michael Pittman is going to continue to cause mayhem. I expect a big game from him. I do think that both teams are going to sell out to stop the run, and whichever quarterback plays better.
Great point.
Because aren't you can make a case that both teams are very similar on offense. Whereas, obviously, they got A.J. Brown and Julio are way better receivers than what Michael Pittman is. Maybe Pittman enters a conversation close to those guys eventually. But they both want to run the ball. They both have bell cow backs that they want to give the ball to 25, 30 times.
They do have quarterbacks that can be dangerous in the red zone when it comes to option. Like you saw Wentz and Tannehill scored last weekend.
Yeah, and I think that these teams are very similar from schematics, like you said before. Mm-hmm. The Colts are at home. Do you think it's possible that the Titans might be in maybe a letdown spot? Or, you just played 2 really big games, man, back to back. And now this is a big game, though, too.
Yeah, and if anything, they should be well rested. They didn't have to really play in that 4th quarter.
Yeah.
The game was done and dusted, especially when Holmes got injured. So I don't really think they're in a letdown spot. It's not like they're on a short week. If anything, I'd be a little concerned with the Colts. They literally just played in a monsoon.
Yeah.
Like
they played in a gorilla monsoon.
Like that game was, I don't know how you could play in that, but it was a true gritty performance.
Who you got in this game?
I'm gonna go with the Titans. I'm riding that wave. I think the Colts defense will struggle in this, and I don't know if they have I don't know offensively if they could put up enough points. And I do wonder, Tennessee, look, their defense, particularly at corner, they're very, very questionable. Like what's his name? Oh, what's the 1st-round pick? Why am I blanking on it?
Caleb Farley?
Yeah, he's obviously injured.
Yeah, he's out for the year.
Janoris Jenkins looks 45 years old. Like, corners are bad, but one thing I'll give to Tennessee, they're getting after the front 4. Harold Landry's having a career year. Bud Dupree slowly putting it together. And D'Amico Autry, who was I was surprised the Colts let him go. He was someone that was flashing every week for them. I guess they didn't want to pay him. So he's now there. Jeffrey Simmons made that huge play on Josh Allen a couple weekends ago, that Monday night. So that front 4, be on the lookout for them. And I think they'll do enough to get the win here. I'm going to go with Titans.
I just realized this is a rematch from – they've played already. They played in week 3.
Wow, that game was very forgettable.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at the box score here.
A.J. Brown didn't play. Julio got injured.
Yeah, it was Westbrook Akine had 4 for 53 and a touchdown.
Yeah.
That's about it. You know, Derrick Henry had 113 yards, but 28 carries. Just very lackluster. But wow, I completely forgot about that.
Titans got the tiebreaker. Yeah,
They got the tie. This is really if the Titans win this game, this is really a 4-game lead that you would have on them.
Oh, wow.
So this is even bigger.
That first game was so forgettable.
Yo, bro, I never would have guessed because I was thinking about the schedule because I was thinking about the Titans. Like they got blown out by the Cardinals, right? Week 1.
Beat Seattle.
They beat Seattle. And then I couldn't remember that this was the week 3 game because my dad calls me earlier in the week and because he saw the video I put up with Ippy about like the NFL is weird, bro. The Titans beat the Bills and Chiefs back to back, but they lost to the Jets.
Yeah.
It's like, but context. They didn't have all those players. So it's just this game, forgettable for sure. I couldn't.
You usually high on the Colts. You're gonna go with the Colts here?
I'm gonna go with the Colts here. Yeah,
Okay.
I think the
Big
Colts.
spot.
It's their playoff hopes are kind of on the line because
Yeah,
you look at the AFC.
Wild card. It's hard to compute those teams in AFC North and AFC West.
Yeah, man, that's gonna be really tough.
Yeah.
So if you're the Colts, your only logical route to the playoffs would be to win your division.
Right.
And now I'm even more on the Colts because it's a must-win game.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the Colts here to win.